Welcome back. Well, it's that time of year again, and I'm happy to say that I'll be your biology teacher this year. I have an innovative approach to teaching science, and my goal is to make science interesting enough to the point where my students view the world around them with more curiosity. So a little bit about me. Who is Miss Wetklow anyway? This is my 8th year teaching and my 5th year working at PCTI. Here I have taught general biology, biology honors, and general chemistry. 2 years ago, I graduated TC&J and earned my master's degree in education. It is during this time where I researched and implemented the flipped classroom approach for the purposes of completing my thesis. I was impressed by how well my students excelled using this method of teaching that I have been doing it ever since. I will explain more about this later in the presentation. 2 years ago, I was blessed to have a beautiful beach wedding in Key Largo, Florida. And this picture over here are my 2 babies. Their names are Buko and Shaco. They are 1 year apart, and they are both teddy bear dogs, which is a mixed breed of Shih Tzu and Bichon. Daily routine that we will adhere to every day. You will get used to this very quickly. Here's how it works. First you find your seat, then you open your Chromebook, and you immediately work on the Do Now, which can be found on Canvas. Do not change seats unless I tell you to do so. We will be doing some in-class activities which will require you to move into different groups, but if we're not doing any activities, you find your seat that you are assigned unless I tell you to do so. I will only have 1 bathroom pass, therefore that means 1 person is out at a time. No ifs, ands, or buts. Also, please come prepared to class. If you don't have a Chromebook and you don't have a set of headphones, a pencil, and at least a folder with all the stuff that I've given you in the past, then there's really no point in coming to class because you're not going to be able to do the assignment that I'm asking you for that day. I do not allow any student to go to the bathroom 10 minutes at the beginning of class or also 10 minutes at the end of class. My reasoning behind this is because in the beginning of class, we're settling down, I'm taking attendance, you have a Do Now activity to work on. It's a really crucial point in the period where I need everyone here. And even if it's an emergency, you need to come to me before class even starts and ask me. If class has started and the bell has rung, you're not leaving for the next 10 minutes. Also, at the end of class, this is when we're wrapping up information. I'm updating the homework if that happened to change for that particular day. Important information is always given at the end of class, so if you're missing, therefore you won't be able to get that information. So again, I do not allow any student to leave the 10 minutes in the beginning or 10 minutes at the end of class to go to the bathroom or for any other reason unless you have a pass or any other exception by another teacher or an administrator to do so. There will be no cell phone use in class unless told to do so. There will be times where I'm going to need you to upload pictures during a lab to a Google Doc. There will be other times where you may want a calculator if you don't have one handy, or if your Chromebook is broken and you need to watch an Edpuzzle video. Those are minor exceptions that I do allow cell phones to be used. But those are extenuating circumstances and they don't happen very often. So if I see you with your cell phone and you're texting and you're not paying attention to what's going on, that's when writing up becomes an option. And I don't like to do that, so please don't make me do that. If you're absent, and this is going to happen to all of you at least once, I'm sure, if you're absent, it is your responsibility to check Canvas. Don't ask me what worksheet we did or what activity did we do. Every single day on Canvas, I will post an itinerary of what we do with the objective and the Do Now assignment and the homework that you missed. Any hard copies will be posted on that same Canvas page for that particular day, and that whole page will be dated. So if you're absent, all you have to do is click on the date that you're absent and everything that you missed will be up there. And you have as many days as you are absent to get that work back to me. I will not hunt you down. I will not ask you. All I will do is if you were gone for 2 days and I didn't get the work 2 days later, it just automatically becomes a 0 in PowerSchool without any discussion about it. This is an example of what all those do nows I was just talking about before on Canvas, those dated itineraries. This is what they're going to look like. And of course they'll be in the Canvas interface, but this is a general idea of what you'll see. At the top you'll have the date, and first I'll have the objective, and the objective is just a statement that describes what the goal is for the day. So again, if you're absent, the objective kind of gives you an idea of, okay, this is what I missed. And if you're present for class, you walk in and you have a pretty good idea from reading that objective what you're going to learn for that day. Next is the do now, and the do now can consist of many different things. It could be something as simple as, you know, me telling you guys to pick up a piece of paper from the front table, so you can work on that as the do now. It could be something as simple as a continuation of work from the previous day. If it was an assignment or a post lab that we were unable to finish that day before, I may just write under the do now, get back into your groups from yesterday, continue working on the lab. But most of the time, the do now is a written assignment that starts a conversation about the topic for that day. And all of these assignments are going to be submitted through Canvas, and these count as classwork grades. And last but not least, you have your homework. Homework is going to be posted for that day every day, and this is really great for people who are absent. Like I said, you come up here and you check. Not only will I write the name of the assignment, but if it is a video, I will link the video. If it's a hard copy assignment, I will link that assignment. So everything is online, and even if you don't come to school for a week, you'll still be able to get all the work, hard copy or not, and you'll be able to send that back to me either via email or whatever, you know, we discuss, and that's, you know, it ends up being easier for you. The grading scale this year has changed throughout the entire school of PCTI. And also, it used to be across the board, every single class was the same weighted categories. That has also changed as well. So let me go over the changes. And freshmen, you're coming in new to this, but this is all new for everyone. So let me first start down here with how your final grade is calculated. We used to do marking periods, and there used to be 4 of them. This year we are starting a new thing called trimesters, where there are 3 different sections to the year. We have a fall term. That's going to be worth 25% of your grade. The second trimester, which is called the winter term, that's worth 30% of your grade. And the third trimester is called the spring term, and that is worth 35% of your overall grade. And then at the end of the year, you take a final exam, and that final exam is worth 10% of your overall grade. Now, the great thing about having trimesters and having the categories weighted the way they are is that if you happen to maybe not do as well as you had hoped in the beginning of the year, it's only worth 25% of your overall grade. But if you look down here at the spring term, it's weighted a little bit higher, so it gives all your, all the students the ability to recuperate from maybe a grade that they weren't as happy with in the beginning of the year. It gives everyone a chance to succeed, which I think is great. Up here, this is specific to just science. So your English teachers and your history teachers and PE, whatever, these are going to be different, whereas in the past they all used to be the same. So the way that this works out is tests are with 40% of your overall grade per trimester. Your labs and or reports, lab reports, these are worth 30% of your overall grade. Any presentation or project is going to be worth 15%. Quizzes are worth 10%. And any homework or classwork is worth 5%. And again, this is per trimester, which has their own weights. As stated before, if you're absent, it's your responsibility to get the work that's needed from Canvas. But what if you're absent on a day that we do a lab? I mean, I can't upload a lab to Canvas. So if that's the case, then you have to get the data from a classmate and you have to be able to complete the rest of the lab either by joining a group that I tell you to join, or maybe you have to do the lab on your own if it's a lab that can be done on your own. I would never put you in a situation where the lab is too difficult or impossible to do by yourself, but there are some labs where you wouldn't even consider them as labs. They could be paper labs, and that's something that could be done at home. But if something's done in the laboratory, in the lab room, and we had to get data for it, and you came the second day for the post, conclusion day, all I would do at that point is you would have to come up to me and tell me that you were absent, which I would already know, of course. And then I would put you in a group, and I would give you either, I would have you take their data, and then you would have to put in extra effort to help them since you were missing the day that they obtained that data. So you would take more of the responsibility of the post lab, and of course, myself and that new group of yours would explain to you what happened in the lab the day that you were missing. Because this is an honors level course, we will be going into more depth of each chapter and going at a faster pace as compared to the general biology course. In addition, you are responsible for completing lecture videos, assignments, and extra research in order to be prepared for class the next day. I will not be reminding you of due dates. Utilize the tools given to you and take responsibility of your work. Here you can see the pacing guide for this honors course. This will be the order of topics we learned for this year, but the timing is tentative due for unforeseen snow days and emergencies. Just some last minute things to remember. Please arrive on time. All late will be recorded in Power School. Again, I'm not going to verbally say, oh, hey, you're late. I mean, there's no need for that. You know you're late. I know you're late. I'm just going to mark it in Power School. The more lates that get recorded in Power School, then you start to accumulate them, and then they turn into cuts, and then you get detentions. It's really not a good situation, so just make sure you arrive on time, especially for lab days. If you come late to a lab day, you've not only come late and you're going to get a late in Power School, but you also are going to hinder your group because there's really not a lot of time. You have to not only obtain the materials, but you have to calculate and get the data that you need, and then you also have to clean up. And 40 minutes sounds like a lot, but when you're doing labs, it's really not. So make sure you come late. Oh my gosh. Make sure you come on time. Don't come late. And also, especially for lab days. Come prepared to class every day. Like I said before, you have to have a Chromebook. You have to have headphones. I have this in caps here. I'm going to explain why in just a little bit. The way that I structure my class, headphones are needed. Of course, a pen or a pencil. I don't care between the two of them. It's your choice if you want a folder with paper, or if you want a binder, that's okay. I mean, I actually do prefer a binder just because we do give out a lot of packets, and it's just going to accumulate throughout the year. A folder may not be able to handle it, but it's your choice. The only things that I truly recommend, that I truly need you to have, is the Chromebook, the headphones, and of course a pen or a pencil. Obtain worksheets and handouts from the designated area upon entering the classroom and take your seat. Again, this may not be an everyday thing, but if there is a worksheet, I will tell you that in the Do Now, which you'll find on Canvas. So first you'll take your seat, then you'll you'll look at what it says to do, and if it says to come get a worksheet, then you go and you grab it. Again, once seated, the Chromebook is open, you immediately log into Canvas and you immediately start working on the Do Now that we discussed before. Be responsible for your homework assignments. Everything is going to be written in Canvas, but make sure that your name is at the top of any assignment, lab, test, quiz, anything that is not on Canvas. So again, I said that I'm going to post everything on Canvas for you, so you know day to day, this is my assignment, this is my assignment. And when you submit something through Canvas, honestly, you don't even really need your name on it because your account is linked through there. But if you're handing in a physical lab, or you're handing in a physical quiz, something that has paper on it, and I don't see a name, that results in half credit for that assignment. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to be responsible, and you have to make sure your name is at the top of everything you hand in. I have linked a file on Canvas. The link is literally called Online Textbook, and this is the hard copy book that we use in this course. Honestly, we really don't use it too much. It's really just mainly there for very minor, assignments like section reviews. If the vocab is really heavy in a particular chapter, I may, have you guys do, the vocab for something like that. But most of the time it's just there as a reference, and if you need more explanation on a particular topic and the lecture video doesn't go into as much detail as you hope, or you want some pictures or not videos, but pictures, diagrams, things like that, the online textbook really is a great resource, and you have that available to you at all times. I use a system called Remind that I've been using, and they've been using this for about 4 years now. It's a great tool for me to use when I need to send an emergency message to you and you're not in the classroom. For example, if we happen to be in the lab, I will send out a remind message to remind you to report to the lab room instead of our normal classroom. If there is an emergency half day and I don't see certain classes, then I will send messages out to those specific classes, updating those students on what they missed or what should or should not be assigned at that point. It is mandatory that everyone signs up for Remind, and it is imperative that you sign up for the correct bio period. Now, luckily for you guys, you are my only honors class this year, so you only have one code to use. If you do not sign up at all, and a message is sent to you, obviously you're not going to get that message. But you are responsible for receiving these remind messages and signing up. If you do not sign up and you do not get the right message, then consequences will be handled per situation. You are responsible for signing up and making sure that your remind is working. So let me explain how this works. The way that you sign up for Remind is the way that you're going to be receiving the remind messages. So if you're going to sign up as a text message, then that means that you're going to receive the messages that I send out as a text. Same goes for email, and same goes for the Remind app, which is free, and that's what this link is right here. So if you're going to sign up as a text message, you type in the number 81010 as the phone number that you're going to be sending this text message to. In the text message area where you send the message, you're going to put the @MRS Wetklow with no W. That's the code that was given to me for your particular class. You're going to send that message, and at that point you should get a confirmation text stating that you successfully been added to my course. If you did not get that the confirmation text, that means that you either typed in the code wrong or you typed in the number wrong and you're not added to my class and you're not going to receive the messages. And then whatever, message I send out, you don't get it, you're responsible, and there's going to be some type of consequence. So make sure you're getting some type of confirmation text or email or message back from Remind saying that you've been successfully added. Now, if you don't like to use your phone, or you don't have a phone, you'd like to use email better, that's where you're going to check more often. You can sign up via email. That means that you're going to get my messages via email. When you do this, please use your PCTI Mobi account, and what you're going to do is type in this email address right here, and you're going to send a blank email message to this email address, and then you should receive some type of email confirmation stating that you've been successfully added. The link right here, now I know that you physically can't touch and click this link because this is a video, but I've given you access to this PowerPoint, and you also have this link on the Google Doc that I gave you the first day of school. So if you want to click the link, it's gonna allow you to be part of my class, but it's going to do it through the Remind app. What you can do at that point, if you don't have the app, all you have to do is download it for free on your phone. I'm not sure if there's an app for the Chromebook, but give that a try. Maybe there is. Either way, you can turn on the notifications, and then you can receive those messages that way as well. Now, you can choose to go by text and email and through the Remind app. You can do all three of them if you'd like. It's probably the safer way to go, just to make sure you're getting these notifications. But it is only mandatory that you sign up one way. And again, choose the way that you're going to definitely be looking. My assumption is that's going to be text message, but whatever way you're going to get the messages for sure on the last minute's notice, during school, at home, after school, it doesn't matter. That's the way that you should be signing up. So as stated before, Canvas is going to be used daily, and that's going to be my way of communicating everything for you. Everything. We're going to do tests on Canvas, quizzes, do-nows, homework. 97% of this course is on Canvas. Edpuzzle is another program that I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about. Edpuzzle is going to be frequently used, and this is going to be my method of giving you information, but it's also going to be a method of homework assignments and lecture videos. So before I get into what Edpuzzle really is, let's see how we sign up. And again, the same goes for Edpuzzle as it does for Remind. You need to go into Canvas, find the PowerPoint version of this video, find the slide, and make sure you're in the right period. And all you have to do is click the link, and then you are joined. But this is extremely important. You have to sign up for the right period. There are different assignments that I may give to different classes. I try to keep all the classes together, every single day, but sometimes that's just not plausible because, there are assemblies and there are, announcements and fire drills and, things like that. So please make sure you are signing up for the right class. I cannot stress that enough. It will be a nightmare to undo that, to get you back in, and to first even realize that you're not even in the right class. So please double check your schedule, make sure you're in the right biology class, then you click the class code. So what is Edpuzzle used for anyway? Well, I do something called the flipped classroom. And what a flipped classroom really is, it's, again, the name, kind of gives it away. It's the flipped version of the traditional classroom. So instead of me standing in front of the room, teaching to you, spitting out information that you'll probably only absorb about 30% of because, it's boring to just sit and listen to one person for 40 minutes. It's virtually impossible. So I've learned that throughout the years, and I have changed my teaching method, and I actually did my thesis for my master's that I graduated in May for. I did an experiment on the flipped classroom, and student achievement rose by 30%. And the reason for this, and this is the feedback that I got from my students from last year, and if you know any students from last year that I have, you can ask them personally. It eliminated behavioral problems because students weren't sitting there bored. We were always doing something in class. We're always doing an activity. Those activities, go hand in hand with the information that you learned the day before. And you're going into class not blind, not wondering, what am I going to learn today? You've already learned it. What Edpuzzle does, it really just gives me the idea of how well did you learn the information from the video. So Edpuzzle not only allows you to watch the video, but it also asks you questions, and those questions are graded, and those grades count as homework assignments. So all of these videos that I'm discussing are going to be homework, depending on the length of them. I nothing more than 10 minutes. Like this video is going to be much longer than 10 minutes. My philosophy is no more than 10 minutes a day. So If a video goes over 10 minutes, you at least have 2 days to do it. If a video were to go, 15 minutes, you would have 3 days to do it, so on and so forth. And then when you come in the next day, if you have questions, I always give the opportunity to go over any information that wasn't understood in the video. And then we do an activity based off that information so you can utilize that information that you just learned and put it into the real world. All my students loved it last year. I know the videos can be a little monotonous, but overall they liked it much, much better, and I'm sure you will too. If you have any other questions about what the flipped classroom is, I do have a video right here that you could click on. It just kind of explains how it can be done, how you can get the most out of the videos. My recommendation is to definitely take notes. I mean, I know that I'm going to be giving you the PowerPoint, I'm going to give you the videos, and I'm going to give you a lot of resources, but sometimes just writing things down, it just helps you remember the information much more. Plus, if you write down some questions that you have, you can bring those questions to me the next day and we can have them answered to you before we even do any activities, so then learning is enhanced right from the start of the period. Here's what you're going to need to be successful for this course. Obviously, you're going to have to bring your Chromebook every day. We're going to be taking notes. We're going to be listening to lecture videos. You're going to be doing online labs, collecting data. The Chromebook is a necessary tool in order to be somewhat successful in this honors course. Headphones are necessary. We may be listening to, lecture videos if you finish work early, if you need some supplemental information, whatever it may be. Make sure you have headphones every single day, no questions asked. Anytime we go to use the headphones and you do not have any, points will be deducted for that particular day off the assignment that you're supposed to be completing, and you can't because of the headphones. Now, it's also important, I know that the new headphones have the new headphone jack, which goes, it's the lightning one that goes into, the new phones only. Make sure that your headphones have accessibility to be plugged into the Chromebook. You will not be allowed to use your phone to complete Edpuzzle assignments. You must use your Chromebook, therefore the headphones must be there. And don't try to do the Edpuzzles without headphones, because it disrupts everyone else and it disrupts me. And again, it's something that you have to be responsible for, and when you're in an honors class, you have to be responsible for the things that you're asked to bring. Make sure you have a binder or a folder. I recommend a binder because you're going to be getting a lot of case studies, a lot of labs, a lot of paperwork. Keeping it organized is going to be imperative. I think the best way to go about that would be the binder. And I think it should go without saying, bringing a pen or a pencil is obviously necessary to bring to class every day. You must have these items listed above no later than Friday, September 7th. Again, you should already have the Chromebook. If there's some type of technology issue, obviously that's going to be let go. But the headphones, the binder, the pen, the pencil needs to be in class by Friday, and continuing to bring every single day for the rest of the school year, or it will continue to result in multiple assignments that are going to be missed. So your homework for tonight is to complete the student information sheet if you have not done so already in class when we did it together. You have to sign up for Remind, follow the directions used in the presentation. Also sign up for Edpuzzle. Again, it's imperative to sign up for Remind and for Edpuzzle. Otherwise, you're not going to be getting the lecture video assignments, and you're not going to be getting the messages that I send to you, when we're outside of class. And also, don't forget to bring all the required supplies that I mentioned before, no later than Friday, September 7th. Oh, and that should be 2018, not 2017. We can make this a successful and enjoyable school year. I'm excited to be your teacher, and please don't hesitate to ask me any questions about anything. I really am very open, but please follow the rules and we should have a great year.